Halifax, Nova Scotia is a crossroads of the British Commonwealth. It has seen Royal Marines and kilted Highlanders marching with red-coated Canadian Mounties, and its houses have trembled with many a 21-gun salute for royalty as battleships paraded in the harbor. Tradition and color like that are meat for young imaginations, and it's little wonder that from the far-flung Commonwealth, these kids have chosen as their model India's daredevil Bengal Lancers. The Junior Lancers, an accomplished children's riding group, has its own riding ground. This is the mecca of young and hopeful equestrians who hanker after a career in the saddle under riding master Mark Facey. This is Heather Cameron. Tragedy blights her life. It's incurable. To be a Lancer, she should be 8, but she's only 6. Out on the field, the older riders lead the newer ones through the paces that they will later exhibit at horse shows and exhibitions. From the original Bengal Lancers themselves, they take the tent peg game. A lowered lance and a rushing charge, and the peg is speared at top speed. It's too much for Heather. 2 years is too long to wait. What can she lose? Maybe Mr. Facey will see what Heather really is. Another Rani of Jhansi, perhaps. An Indian princess who rode bravely into battle. Well, she knew it all the time, but you can't blame a girl for trying. The lucky ones, old-timers of 8 and up, have all the fun. Before they become full-spurred Lancers, they spend 2 years learning to keep the ponies clean and happy. And for additional compensation, they can watch the blacksmith. You don't have to be a Lancer to weave dreams while you watch the flying sparks and listen to the sound of the hammer on the anvil. It's cleanup time. The Lancers are going on a trip, and this gives a chance to get the stall shipshape. Historic old Annapolis Royal is having an anniversary, and the Lancers will ride in the big show. Look, it's little Heather. Hey, little girl, fun's fun, but don't get carried away. But it's too late to change her mind. For better or worse, Heather Cameron has set forth on her adventure. At Annapolis, Nova Scotia, not Maryland, the Lancers carefully unload their ponies after the 100-mile trip. And for Heather, it wasn't a dream that she cooked up in the blacksmith shop. She's here. There's no doubt about it. There goes Heather, as determined and as carefree as the blue flower that runs wild across her ancestral Scottish heath. Next come questions, and from the looks of things, not much of an answer, just a giggle. Heather hasn't given them much choice. They go to see Mr. Facey. And what can he do? When a little gal is determined to sit high up there in the saddle and she follows you around, what greater flattery to a dominie is there? So they get to keep her. And Heather, a diabolically clever child, comes into full and bonny bloom. out the rhythms of history as Annapolis Royal celebrates its birthday as a French settlement in 1605. The British took it over in 1710 and named it after England's Queen Anne. It is one of the oldest towns in America. But it's private history, not public for us today, as Heather gets a boost into the saddle and becomes the new mascot of the Junior Bengal Lancers. Heather will have to wait until she can mount her pony by herself to ride in maneuvers like this. Trained horses need trained riders, and the Lancers are trained to precision keenness. The Junior Lancers do not use the ordinary square patterns of military rides. Their scrolls and circles are done at high speed, as the original Bengals rode. Here, these boys and girls prepare for another intricate movement. Now, watch some of the precision turns that have won this group acclaim in shows in both Canada and the United States. And now, shades of old India and of cavalrymen everywhere, the charge. The big show is over. The crowd has seen once more what it was like when the horsemen rode in every part of the British Empire. And at the head of the troop is a little girl. Happiness, thy name is Heather, mascot of the Canadian Lancers.